All right, so now I have two kind of rare variations that I want to go over with you guys. I've only gotten them once in a Blitz tournament over the board against a Grandmaster and once against a 2200 over the board. Both games I got amazing positions. So h3, we go bishop h5. Kind of went over this in another video. And now queen e2 check. So the idea with queen e2 check is two things. They either want to castle queenside or they want to try to get this b7 pawn. So what you want to remember here is just keep blocking checks with pieces and you will be fine. So bishop e7, block check with a piece. Don't block with the knight because then the bishop gets stuck. Now queen b5 check. They want to win one of these pawns. And we actually just go ahead and let them. We're going to go knight d7. If take on d5, for example, you bring this knight out to f6, guarding the bishop and hitting the queen. They probably take on b7, and now you castle. So you are going to be down 2 pawns. But every move you develop pieces. So here, I think eval is like 0.4, 0.5. So if you're down 2 pawns and it's only 0.4, like you're doing pretty well here. For example, if he goes like queen b5, which sometimes they do, or queen b3, let's say queen b3, once again, keep developing, rook b8. If queen a4, now we take on f3, crippling his pawns, and because we're ahead in development, now we want to start trying to attack. So first thing you could do is you can go rook e8, putting him in a line of fire. Let's say bishop e2, and now we go c5, attacking the center and opening up the position. If they take here, after knight takes, I'm pretty sure black is already winning here. Like, that you have way too much activity, their king is never safe, and you eventually will break through in this position. If you don't, then just know that you are better and probably you need to get better chess. So queen e2 check, block with the bishop, queen here, knight here. Queen takes b7, also another move that's possible. Take on f3, cripple his pawns, knight f6, and we're going to use the same idea. Castle, and then c5, and open up the position. So that's what you're going to do if this queen e2 check variation. Now, the other thing that you can see in this is g4, bishop g6, and they're going to try to castle queenside. I'm just going to use my good friend here, Mr. Fish, just to double check this variation. Knight e5 is possible. I think computer actually likes this for white, but after g4, like, it is kind of sus. So if queen b5 check, they're trying to be greedy. I'm pretty sure we're going to block with knight c6. And it looks strange because we're giving up this pawn. But actually, if they take this, they're already in trouble because we have knight b4 followed by rook to b8. And why knight b4 is strong, or strong as my sensei will say, is you're hitting c2, which, I mean, you're double hitting it. And there's a lot of ideas with trapping the queen. Once again, this is the more advanced variation. And honestly, I've only had one person play this against me. But if bishop b5 check, you're going to make the kind of sus king f8 move. But now winter is coming for white. Now he's got to deal with this, and he's got to deal with this. And black is doing super well here. The other move you'll see is knight e5. And I think here you're also supposed to go knight c6. Okay, never mind. I mean, you can go knight c6, but you can also just go knight f6 and try to castle. And just know, like, if they push g4 and h3, like, the position is kind of sus for white. Honestly, I like knight c6 a little bit better. Let's be honest. I want to counter this faster than later. And we're going to go over queen b5 once this guy. Actually, you know what I need to do? Change the CPUs. So if your engine ever does get stuck, make it 1. It'll move way faster. This is something my teacher taught me. So knight c6, queen b5, and here. So you can just go a6. Crazy enough. Let him take either of the pawns, and you're going to have ample compensation with just activity. And that's the whole idea of this line. I think knight c6, you're just going to take the queen. No, take the queen b5 hangs at the end, but c2 hangs at the end. Yeah, so actually, yeah, I was correct. That was correct. And apparently it's like really good for black, not just like kind of good. All right, buddy, come on. We're almost there. Once again, I've never seen this, but it's just good to know. Take, knight takes, queen forced, and then king takes. That way they don't take with check. They take this pawn, and you get c2. I mean, you can go h5 too. Now, the other last variation that I want to go over is what to do if they try to castle queenside. So let's say bishop f4, for example. I mean, we would go bishop d6, take, queen takes, let's say like knight c3. We can go c6 just to dominate this knight, queen d2, here, castle, and castle. So the castle opposite sides, in general, you're going to get this kind of race format where they go like f3, g4, h4. And what you want to do here is try to push these pawns on this queen side and pawn storm him. So actually what I used to do against the exchange French is try to castle queenside, and is just faster when you castle kingside versus queenside. Their attack takes a long time to get going, and as long as you have no hook on h6, you're going to be fine here. So here you would just go push, 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 and then open them up. So these queen e2 lines, they are kind of sus, but I think they're also sus for white. Also, another thing, generally when they play the exchange French, they're not trying to do all this because they're trying to make it a boring, slow game. So it's very rare for them to castle queenside or try to play this aggressively. Just keep that in mind. But if they do, now you know what to do. So attack faster, develop, and just trust your position, and you will be fine.